Quick, quick! Come watch, it's Mary of Scots.
I hereby sentence you, Mary Queen of Scott, to death. God save Queen Elizabeth. May all the enemies of the true evangel thus perish.
Welcome back to another Her Story podcast. Today we are joined by the woman herself, Mary Stuart, Queen of Scots. Welcome, Mary. Aye. Thank you, it's great to be here. My neck has been really stiff these past few centuries, but I'm very excited to execute all these lays I've been hearing. That's the aim of this show, and before we continue, I'd like to welcome back to the pod international historian and award-winning novelist Indy Judd.
Thanks, Kira. It's good to be back. I'm extremely excited to talk to the guest of the day.
Should I be worried?
No.
We're just here to get to the bottom of who you really are. There are so many representations of you throughout history: an adulteress and temptress, a Catholic heretic, a murderess, or even that you were an inexperienced queen, too ruled by your emotions to make decisions that would actually benefit your country. We just want to know the real you. Well, let's get to it then.
Although your reign in Scotland lasted many years, very few people write about it as a success. Luke Bonham, a history graduate of King's College London, wrote in the Tudor Files that the failure of Mary Stuart's reign in Scotland must surely be Mary's fault. He claims that your insecure statesmanship and even worse choice in husbands make it clear that your downfall was due to your own ineptitude. So many people have their own opinions on why you came to be abdicated. But I want to know, why do you believe you were forced off the Scottish throne? Did it indeed come down to Scotland's need for an experienced monarch and your evident lack thereof?
I think the point that Luke Bonham makes is fair. I was indeed very inexperienced. I was never trained to be queen. Growing up in a French court as a woman does not exactly give you the real-world experience needed in order to become a strong monarch. I basically had to learn on the job, and yes, that meant I made a few mistakes with consequences that people did not like, and eventually they couldn't trust me as a queen anymore. But I do not believe that it was simply my fault. My choice in husbands was controversial, and although it didn't alter my ability to be queen, it did alter the public perception of me. However, I believe that my most downfalling factor was in fact that I was a Catholic. It often felt like I was the only cloud in a sunny blue sky, trying to change the Protestant views of Scotland to convert them to Catholicism. That was definitely my biggest mistake. But I was dedicated to my faith. I wanted to share that with my people. However, religion was a core part of many people's lives. We built a whole world around our faith and going about telling people that everything they know is wrong and that what I believed is right. It didn't end well.
If you could go back, would you change any of the decisions you made?
No, I don't think I would. I may not have been the queen that the people wanted or needed, but I was true to myself, and I think that is what is most important. And although I was eventually abdicated, my time as a ruler was over.
John Knox, one of your most sworn enemies while on the throne, the leader of the Reformation and a Scottish minister and writer, stated in his famous tract, The First Blast of the Trumpet, that the very existence of a regnant queen was a violation of the divine and natural order of the world. How did it feel being a woman in power? Are opinions like John Knox the reason that you were viewed in such a negative light? Is he biased in saying that a woman should not hold more power than a man?
How dare he say such a thing? Yes, I do believe that men like John Knox, who had such a high position in society, are the reason that my reign has been represented as failure throughout time. People were not only scared of a Catholic ruling a Protestant country, but a woman being allowed to rule. The men just couldn't stand it. I spent almost my entire reign being accused of such ghastly things by powerful men simply because I had been born a woman. But of course those men wrote the history books, so the reputation has stuck.
Interesting. Throughout the past centuries, there have been various representations uncovered, a very prominent one being that you were an adulteress, a temptress, and that as a woman, you had to seduce and lure men to remain in power. In fact, after your second husband's death, a drawing circulated throughout England depicting you as a mermaid, and in those times, they commonly represented prostitutes. The mermaid in the hair drawing was a sort of propaganda to show any and all followers of you that Mary Stuart was an evil woman, murdering and seducing men throughout her reign. As a woman yourself, do you believe that this was the work of men? Throughout your rule, they held control over how the rest of society perceived you?
In my youth and throughout my marriages, I do feel as if I was more scandalous than my counterpart, the Virgin Queen. But as a woman, this was taken nowhere near as lightly as if a man had done the same things. In my second marriage to Lord Darnley, I was very unhappy. It did it only to appease the Scottish lords. I felt trapped within my own reign, and was able to find comfort within my friend and secretary, Rico. Darnley didn't believe my betrayal, and had him murdered. Everything I did throughout my reign was for my people, and my very own husband couldn't see that I was trying to find happiness. He helped murder my friend with the Protestant lords, selling them a story that I had tempted Rico, and the only way to hurt me was through him. I believed that as a woman, there was an immense lack of respect towards me as God's appointed ruler. They would do anything they could to twist the story, to not fall back on them. And they made it seem as if I seduced men to further my reign. But I am dedicated to my faith and my people, and would never do what they claim of me.
Well, I think that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for joining us, Mary. It's been great to get to the bottom of who you really are.
It's been a pleasure. It's clear that you have been severely misinterpreted in history, not a Catholic heretic, but a woman faithful to herself and her kingdom. You didn't rule through murder or seduction, but you were dedicated and thoughtful and considered the well-being of your people. Yes, you may have been inexperienced, but who cares, am I right?
And thank you for having me, Kira. I can't wait to see who I'll interview next.
Thanks for listening. See you next time on Her Story Podcast.